Sometimes life does not place us where we want to be. Sometimes life plants us exactly where we are needed, even when we cannot understand it. And sometimes the place we hate the most slowly becomes the place that makes us the strongest. This is the story of the tree that once believed it was the most unlucky tree in the world. High in a dry mountain region, where strong winds roared day and night, and the sun burned the earth like fire, a tiny seed once fell between two giant rocks. There was no soil, no river nearby, no forest, and no protection. There was only hard stone, unbearable heat, and deep loneliness. Still, the seed tried to live. After many days, a small green seed finally pushed out. When it looked around, it saw nothing but emptiness and silence. As the days passed, the tiny plant struggled to survive. Whenever it tried to spread its root, hard stone blocked the way. Whenever it tried to grow new leaves, the dry winds tore them apart. Many times, the plant wanted to give up. It would silently ask the sky why it was placed there instead of a green forest or near a flowing river. Seasons passed, and the plant slowly became a small tree, but it was weak. Its trunk was bent, its leaves were few, and its bark was dry and cracked. One summer was especially cruel. The sun stayed longer than usual, and the ground became burning hot. Even mountain animals stopped coming to that place. One afternoon, a group of hungry mountain goats passed by and ate most of the tree's leaves. That night, under the silent sky, the tree felt completely exhausted and thought maybe it was not meant to grow at all. One morning, a white swan, tired from a long migration journey, landed near the rocks to rest. The tree had never seen such a beautiful bird before. The swan noticed the weak tree and gently asked how it was surviving in such a harsh place. The tree replied that it was not sure whether it was surviving or just waiting to die. The swan felt sad and said that it was traveling to a sacred northern lake, a place where prayers were believed to reach the Creator. For the first time, a small hope was born inside the tree. It gave the courage and requested the swan to ask one question there, whether its life would always be full of struggle. The swan promised and flew away. After many days, the swan reached the sacred lake, prayed deeply, and received an answer in its heart. The tree still had many years of struggle ahead. The swan then asked if there was any way to help the tree. After a long silence, another answer came. Tell the tree to thank the place where it is planted in every situation. When the swan returned weeks later and shared the message, the tree felt confused. How could it thank a place that had only given pain? But after thinking deeply, the tree decided to try. The next day, when the sun burned strongly, the tree whispered, "Thank you for making me stronger." When strong winds bent its branches, it said, "Thank you for teaching me to bend, not break." When gods returned and ate its leaf again, it said, "Thank you for teaching me to grow again." At first, nothing seemed to change. But slowly, something invisible began changing inside. Instead of spreading sideways, the roots started growing deeper and deeper. Tiny cracks slowly formed inside the rocks. Months passed. One season, light rain came. This time, the water did not run away, because the root had created small spaces inside the rocks. The tree drank slowly and survived. Over time, grass started growing near the rocks. Then insects came. Then small birds came. Years passed, and the tree grew taller and stronger. Its root had slowly broken the rocks apart. Now there was soil, moisture, and life between the rocks. Birds built nets on its branches, and travelers rested in its shade. The place that once had nothing slowly became full of life because of that one tree. One day, the swan returned again and was shocked. It could hardly believe this was the same place. The tree gently replied that it was the same place, but it was no longer the same tree. The swan closed its eyes and understood the deeper truth. The place had not changed. The storm had not stopped. The sun had not become softer, but gratitude had changed how life followed toward the tree. Years later, that place became a small green valley. Travelers passing by would often say that the valley felt peaceful, but very few knew that this valley was once just two rocks and one struggling tree that decided to stop fighting life and started thanking it. Now think for a moment. How many times do we ask why problems happen to us or why life feels unfair? But what if some struggles are not punishment but preparation? What if the place you had today is secretly building your strength for tomorrow? The life lesson is simple but powerful. You may not control where life plants you, but you always control how you grow there. Complaining drains your strength, but gratitude multiplies. Sometimes, the hardest place creates the strongest soul, and sometimes, the struggle you are facing today is shaping the strength you will need tomorrow.